Welcome back to Transcriber from Reddit. Today's topic comes from the subreddit Lost Generation, posted by user Mansour_Ausunum, spelled Ausuhnom. The post is an image titled, "Will Republican Voters Ever Wake Up?" It is tagged, "Not Safe for Work." As of recording this, it has 1,175 upvotes. The image contains a list of 46 Republican individuals, and the list is titled, "List of Convicted Republican Pedophiles." Now, I did not want to record this before doing my research on each individual and making sure that I had citations, credible sources listed for each individual. I believe that all pedophiles that have been convicted should be outed and named on the internet. Anything that is alleged will be named as alleged here in this video. Those will be the individuals for whom I can find absolutely nothing for on the internet. And anyone who I name who has been confirmed to have done these horrible things, I will also give a short, brief synopsis of the source where I confirmed this. My thanks go out to user Ace10Suited for originally compiling the list of sources that I needed, as well as user PeachFreezer1312, who posted a copy of this list under subreddit Dank Left Articles. Number 1 on the list is Republican County Commissioner David Schwartz, spelled Swartz, pleaded guilty to molesting 2 girls under the age of 11, 8 years in prison. That was confirmed at source The Lantern Project, which is ran out of the UK. In their article posted February 3rd, 2004, a man who quit as a Richland County Commissioner 2 weeks ago, this was in Mansfield, Ohio, has pleaded guilty to felony sex abuse involving a teenage girl. Granted, that does not say that there was a second victim involved or that he was convicted yet. So let's go to the Akron, spelled Akron, Beacon Journal. This was published at September 28th, 2012. Title reads, "Ex-lawmaker convicted of sex offenses sent back to prison after contacting victim on Facebook." Again, Mansfield, Ohio. A former Ohio County Commissioner who served prison time for sex offenses is back behind bars after authorities say he contacted one of his victims on Facebook. The Mansfield News Journal reports that 74-year-old Dave Schwartz, a former commissioner in Richland County in northern Ohio, has gone back to prison until December 4th. Schwartz was convicted in 2004 of sexually assaulting 2 girls and served 8 years in prison. He was released in March. Authorities said he violated the terms of his sex offender probation by contacting the victim. He was sentenced to serve another 3 months in prison. With number 1 confirmed, let's go on to number 2. Number 2 reads, Republican Judge Mark Pazuhanich, spelled Pazuhanich, pleaded no contest to fondling a 10-year-old girl and was sentenced to 10 years probation. The original link for Mark Pazuhanich is broken and can no longer be found. So let's dig a little deeper. I found on a website called Times Leader an article titled Indecent Assault Case Judge Pleads No Contest. Mark Pazuhanich says he didn't want his daughter to have to testify about fondling incident. I'm going to briefly paraphrase the article here. Pazuhanich made a no contest plea to fondling the girl. No contest plea means that it's treated as a guilty plea. Ultimately, it cost him his judge, and he vowed to resign from his position. This happened back in July 13th, 2004, and another note in the article says that Pazuhanich was sentenced to 10 years probation instead of prison time, and he was ordered to register his address with state police for the next 10 years. However, a predator finding by the state could force Pazuhanich to register his address for the rest of his life. So, number 2, also confirmed. Let's move on to number 3. Republican anti-abortion activist Nicholas Morency pleaded guilty to possessing child pornography and bounty on abortion doctors. On the website Deseret News, Deseret is spelled D-E-S-E-R-E-T. This took place in Camden, New Jersey. Article titled, New Jersey Man Pleads Guilty to Internet Porn Charges. I will summarize the article as follows. New Jersey man admitted in court that he collected pornographic images of children. At the same time, he was offering a $1.5 million bounty over the internet for the murder of any abortion provider. This article was written on March 10th, 2001. Nicholas Morency, 30, an Atlantic City casino employee, faces up to 6 years in prison and $350,000 in fines after pleading guilty in a U.S. District Court to charges of intimidation and child pornography. He will be sentenced June 22nd. Good. Yeah, it doesn't talk about his life after prison, but pleading guilty and knowing that he got sentenced just makes the heart feel a little bit better. On to person number 4. Republican legislator Edison Misla Aldarondo, his last name is spelled Aldarondo, was sentenced to 10 years in prison for raping his daughter between the ages of 9 and 17. Now, this one gets a little tricky because initially he was charged, according to the Orlando Sentinel, dated back on November 17th, 2004, he was charged with attempted rape and 2 counts of giving alcohol to minors. The initial story being that he gave his stepdaughter and her 17-year-old friend alcohol and then attempted to rape the friend. However, looking further into it, under the San Juan Daily Star, in an article written on December 1st, 2021, it was revealed that Edison had given the stepdaughter and her friend alcohol and prescription medications. And then, during the hearings, it emerged that his stepdaughter had been molested periodically over the course of 8 years. He negotiated with prosecution to plead guilty to attempted rape rather than rape, for which he was sentenced to an additional 13 years in prison, and eventually he was paroled in 2015. He ended up dying November 30th, 2021. So that's a 4th person confirmed, albeit not all the details included in the original post, but you do find it out after you do some digging. On to person number 5. Republican Mayor Philip Giordano is serving a 37-year sentence in federal prison for sexually abusing 8 and 10-year-old girls. Note, his last name is spelled Giordano. I have no clue how to pronounce that. From the Wikipedia page, note, only reason I'm using Wikipedia here is because it references a bunch of New York Times articles. I do not pay for the New York Times, so every time I try to access those articles, I get asked to sign up for the New York Times. As far as I can tell, all the original links are still in place and are still active. So, going back to Wikipedia, yes, the mayor has his own Wikipedia page, and it has its own section titled Convicted Sex Offender. It reads as follows. While investigating municipal corruption, the FBI discovered phone records and pictures of Giordano with a prostitute, as well as with her 10-year-old niece and her 8-year-old daughter. He was arrested on July 26, 2001, and in March 2003 was convicted of 14 counts of using an interstate device, his cell phone, to arrange sexual contact with children. He was also convicted of violating the girls' civil rights. He was sentenced to 37 years in prison. In July 2007, his motion to reduce this sentence was denied by a federal judge. In 2006, Giordano sued the city for back pay resulting from sick days and vacation time. In 2015, Giordano petitioned for a writ of habeas corpus and certificate of appealability, claiming that his original trial attorney never conveyed the offer of a 15-year plea deal. After a hearing and finding evidence to the contrary, Connecticut District Court Judge Stephen R. Underhill rejected Giordano's request. Giordano is currently serving his original 37-year sentence at the Yazoo City Medium Security Federal Correctional Institution in Mississippi and is scheduled for release in 2033. I would say that this one is also confirmed, based off of the active links to the New York Times through this guy's Wikipedia page. On to Republican number 6. Republican campaign consultant Tom Shortridge, spelled Shortridge, was sentenced to 3 years probation for taking nude photographs of a 15-year-old girl. The original link comes up with a 404 error, I noticed. So I went and did a little bit of my own digging. I ended up having to use the Internet Wayback Machine for the original link, as a quick Google search did not get me anywhere for some weird reason. The Internet Wayback Machine directs me to an article by Jason Dietrich titled, Shortridge Gets Probation for Photos of Teen Models. This article was originally posted on Easy Reader Incorporated, located out of California, according to the information at the bottom of the archived page. The article reads as follows. The South Bay's major Republican campaign consultant received 3 years probation after pleading no contest to charges that he knowingly took semi-nude photographs of 2 underage girls. Tom Shortridge accepted 2 misdemeanor counts of contributing to the delinquency of a minor in the case, which arose after police discovered photographs of 2 of Shortridge's teenage employees in various states of undress in a search of his home and office. The former head of the South Bay Republican Club will not have to register as a sex offender, but will be required to receive psychiatric counseling, apologize to the girls and their parents, and perform 200 hours of community service. He is not allowed to be around girls under age 18 without the presence of another adult, and was sentenced to 180 days in jail, which he would be required to serve if he breaks the rules of his probation. So the 3 years probation is incorrect. That's what he would have faced. However, with pleading no contest, he would be sentenced up to 180 days in jail if he broke his probation. I don't know if he did or not, but that would be interesting for further investigation. Undoubtedly, he did not get enough time in jail. Psychiatric counseling, community service, apologies to the girls, all of this is just a slap on the wrist. I didn't expect anything less for someone who is so politically well-connected. On to person number 7. Republican racist pedophile and United States Senator Strom Thurmond, spelled Thurmond, had sex with a 15-year-old black girl which produced a child. Now, it should be noted that this should have been a crime, and I say should because the daughter was born to a 16-year-old African-American girl who worked as a domestic servant for Thurmond's parents, and Thurmond, when he impregnated her, he was 22 and unmarried. It seems that he paid the servant well and also promised to care for her child and could continue living his life and reach his political aspirations without her and her daughter being a hindrance. I will include both Wikipedia article links for Senator Thurmond and his daughter, Essie Thurmond, in the description below. Be forewarned, they link to more New York Times articles, and if you're not a subscriber, you will get nasty messages from them. I will also link an article from The New Yorker, which mentions Essie's book as well as elaborates on the unequal relationships that white men such as Thurmond would put their domestic servants, such as the 15-year-old black girl in this case, would put them in. With another one being confirmed, let's move on to number 8. Republican pastor Mike Hintz, spelled Hintz, surrendered to police after admitting to a sexual affair with a female juvenile. According to a Washington Post article that was not part of the original sources, by the way, it reads from December 10th, 2004, titled, "Example Goes From Good to Bad." Scrolling down, Mike Hintz, he was singled out by President Bush when Bush, back on October 4th of that same year, stopped in Des Moines to sign his most recent tax cut bill, and he was singling out Pastor Mike and his wife Charla Hintz as beneficiaries. However, Mike, a First Assembly of God youth pastor nonetheless, was arrested and charged with sexual exploitation of a child. Apparently last spring, he began a relationship with a 17-year-old girl who was a member of the church's youth group. The contact allegedly occurred at the girl's home and during a mission trip to India. Hintz denied the allegations, but the church fired him on October 30th. Gotta say, I give kudos to the church on this. However, it must be asked why Mike Hintz is still a pastor after all this time. For time's sake, I will include a YouTube link to Pastor Mike Hintz's story, which is posted by Lifegate Church. With 8 confirmed so far, let's go on to number 9. Republican legislator Peter Dibble pleaded no contest to having an inappropriate relationship with a 13-year-old girl. Linked below are 2 New York Times articles regarding the process of Peter not just pleading no contest, but also everyone else in his district trying to get him to leave office. And he only got a 90-day prison term. Here's hoping he's not seen in office again. On to number 10. Republican Congressman Donald Lukens, spelled Lukens, was found guilty of having sex with a female minor and sentenced to 1 month in jail. I had to do my own digging as there was no source provided in the Reddit post, which took me to Wikipedia. Granted, again, it's Wikipedia. However, there are a couple links to the Associated Press regarding this issue, as well as to the Los Angeles Times. Thing is when I click on those links, I get a request to log on in. However, when I click on the links, I still see the original article title pop up, so I can tell that the link is not broken. To summarize the Wikipedia article, on February 1st, 1989, an Ohio television station caught Lukens on camera at a Columbus, Ohio McDonald's restaurant talking with Anna Kaufman, the mother of a teenage girl. Why would you be talking to the mother of a teenage girl that has absolutely no relation to you? A grand jury then brought charges against him of contributing to the delinquency of a minor because of allegations that he paid the girl $40 and gifts in exchange for sex when she was 16 years old. Other allegations had been made that the relationship began when she was 13, but a grand jury decided to decline to pursue further charges against Lukens. Lukens was forced to spend all but 30 days in jail. Originally, it was 180 days. Minus 30, it would be 150 days in jail. Lukens also had to pay half the fine of $1,000, ultimately $500, and Lukens was ordered to attend sex offender programs and to be tested for venereal diseases. Bond to get out of jail was $100,000. Lukens refused to resign from his seat despite the demands of Republican leadership. And then, on October 23, 1990, the House Ethics Committee voted to investigate charges that Lukens had fondled and propositioned a Capitol elevator operator. And that's when Lukens decided that resignation was inevitable, which he made official on October 24, 1990. 10 confirmed so far. Let's move on to number 11. Republican fundraiser Richard A. Delgaudio, spelled Delgaudio, was found guilty of child porn charges and paying 2 teenage girls to pose for sexual photos. This one had a source that was an archived Washington Post article written by Michael Laris back on April 24, 2003, titled GOP Activist Admits to Child Porn. He was sentenced to 2 years probation after pleading guilty to a child porn charge. He paid the girl, a single mother and high school dropout, by the hour for photo shoots at the Deluxe Plaza Motel in Baltimore. I don't know why the court decided to stop there. Listen to this bullshit word salad from his attorneys saying that Delgaudio acknowledges the acute moral shortcomings of his conduct, and he will continue intense self-examination and professional and spiritual counseling. As long as that counseling is taking place at the other end of a double-barreled that's the only kind of counseling that I believe in for a pedophile. On to number 12. Republican activist Mark A. Grethen, spelled Grethen, convicted on 6 counts of sex crimes involving children. The original link from the Reddit post takes you to a blog containing links that are similar to the rest of the names on this post. However, the link that it takes you to vacourts.gov gives you a 404 error. Googling his name led me to an article by Law and Crime written by Aaron Keller on August 7th, 2021, titled Top Republican Donor Killed in Prison After Serving Nearly 2 Decades for Sexually Assaulting 2 Children. To summarize the article, Mark Grethen, who is 63, died by, quote, following an apparent attack by another inmate inside the victim's cell, end quote. The attack occurred at the Lawrenceville Correctional Center. The victim was serving a 26-year sentence for crimes including forcible sodomy and aggravated sexual battery. How do they describe the assailant? The apparent assailant is serving a 22-year sentence for crimes including robbery, malicious wounding, and assault by an inmate or probationer on an employee. This incident is being investigated as a homicide. Then it goes into another paragraph where it says that Grethen was a businessman who had been, quote, convicted of sexually assaulting children. Apparently there was a litany of July 16th, 2001 convictions under Grethen's name. So, time to pop out the champagne and do a celebrity toast for everybody. No one likes Grethen. Everyone is glad that Grethen is dead. Personally, I would say the homicide charges should be dropped and we throw a big party for the guy who eliminated this waste of space. I'm taking a look now at the length of this video and I'm realizing that I'm reaching close to the 30-minute mark. So I'm going to divvy this up from 46, trying to fit into one video, to fitting the first 12 and going by 12s for this and the next 3 videos. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, leave a comment down below, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.